Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we take a look at newly formed Hurricane Elsa as it makes its way through the Caribbean and sets its sight on the Gulf Coast. As a 2 p.m. update from July 2nd, this storm has increased from 75 miles per hour to 85 miles per hour. This storm is quickly strengthening and could pose a threat to the Caribbean and Gulf Coast. The storm is moving northwest at a movement of 29 miles per hour. The pressure has been dropping. The last update was at 995 and now it's at 991. This does indicate a strengthening storm, which is always not good for wherever this storm is going to go. And once again, anywhere in the Caribbean and Florida looks like to be the sweet spot for this storm to hit. If we go on to the infrared, this is where the high tops of the clouds, the higher the high tops of the cloud, the more stronger the storms. And as you can see, compared to yesterday, this storm has been getting more and more wrapped up. If I can pause this for a moment here. Remember yesterday, on the northwest side, there was nothing up here. It was just all the storms on the eastern side and some on the southern. Now this whole storm has all convection. It just needs to form a low pressure system, or called an eye, which is a circle and the low pressure surrounds that. The low pressure is somewhere in there underneath all those high clouds, and all these darker colors and even pinks and whites, that's where your high top clouds and strongest storms are. Once again, this storm is moving west-northwest as at 29 miles per hour, but as it gets through the Caribbean, it will slow down, which means this storm will have longer time to strengthen and could even get up to Category 2, maybe even up to Category 3 if conditions favor it. As of right now, you can see there are still spotty high top clouds just outside the storm. This is what you call stranding off a storm. The shear still looks like to be playing a little bit of factor into the storm, but not as much as yesterday as it gets into a more favorable position. Once again, this is Hurricane Elsa. They need to update this, but trust me, it is down to 991 and the winds are up to 85 miles per hour. If we take a look at the spaghetti models, this is the 12Z run. There's only one available right now. These models have really underestimated the storm strength. Right now it's at 991. This shows it were to be at 1002. The GFS would show the same, and even the Canadian model is even weaker with this storm with 1006 millibars. That means a whole lot. The Canadian is 15 millibars off, which could play a huge difference. And if I am doing this correct, the GFS is 11 millibars off. You go from a weak tropical storm to a strong or even moderate Category 1 hurricane. That could make a significant difference here. If we go back to, I don't know what happened here, sorry about that. But if we go back to the other spaghetti models, I'm not sure if these are all updated yet, but as you can see, most of the models have been coming into agreement. This is going to go into western Florida, even into parts of Panhandle, then anywhere from down from Long Island, North Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, and Maryland, and New Jersey has a chance to see some rain and wind out of this, but it's obviously not going to be Category 1. It may be tropical storm or tropical depression by the time it gets to that part of the area. And it looks like it actually just updated. Oh my god. If this is the 12Z, but this was the 6Z, as you can see. At least for this, the GFS, the majority of the models take it into the panhandle of Florida and into western Florida, and then take it from all the way down from Massachusetts, all the way down to South Carolina, all the way into this area. If I were in this area, I'd be paying attention to this. You're not out of the storm yet. As you can see, some models still bring it as a tropical storm, if not a tropical depression. You will see some rain out of this if this were to pan out, but once again, look how weak this storm is that they show it. It only gets down to 999 just south of Cuba and the Dominican Republic and Haiti, but this storm is already down to 991. These models are significantly underplaying this storm, which could mean a lot of places could you get a quick surprise with this storm. And if you get down to the DEPS, I don't even want to go into this. These spaghetti models is like the Canadian, if I am correct with that, and don't pay too much attention to this, because this one takes it all the way out to Alabama, just trust me, is still a chance of happening, but as of right now, I think it's going to take it. Oh, excuse me, this is Mississippi and this is Alabama. But as of right now, I think it's going to go into western Florida, into the Panhandle by Tampa Bay, even, and then scoot its way off into the Northeast. It could even make landfall again up to the north. If we take a look at the intensity guidance, once again, these models have been significantly underplaying this storm. Yesterday, they jumped up to Category 1. This needs to be updated again, I believe, because as of right now, it's only at 65, 75, around that area, and it's already up to an 85, almost up to Category 2 strength. So, as you can see, all these models right here, well, I'll maybe redo that because it's at 85. All these models below this line, I would really start to cancel these out. There's only a handful that think this is going to get into Category 2 strength, and it's pretty much almost there. As we go back to the National Hurricane Center, as you can see, it's already up to 85 miles per hour, and the millibars is already down to 991, moving northwest, west-northwest at 29 miles per hour. And before we go on to tropical tidbits, once it reaches this area, this storm is going to significantly slow down, move down to 10, 15 miles per hour instead of 30, so this storm could really get it to Category 3 strength if conditions really do favor it. This is the GFS. Thank you for Tropical Tidbits letting you use this site. But before I get started with this, trust me, look how already weak this model is showing the storm. This is Elsa right here. It's entering the Caribbean. And then you have your high pressure just north of that. It's out by Bermuda, just east of Bermuda. Here is Bermuda. It's only showing it at 1,002 millibars, and as we go back to the National Hurricane Service right here, it's already down to 991. That is a huge difference right here. But if we move on with this, it does show the storm getting down to 1,000 millibars and 998, and then weakening and going back up into a tropical depression, a weak tropical storm. And then once it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, I'm sorry about this, it's a little bit bad Wi-Fi here, but it takes it into Western Panhandle as a 1,004 millibar storm. If you take that into consideration that it's already at 991, you would have to think that it goes straight over Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and right over Cuba for that to happen. But it just takes it over Jamaica and over Cuba, and then it sits it into the Gulf of Mexico and doesn't want to strengthen it at all. At this point, you would think these models are really underestimating the storm, and you would be totally correct, and then it takes it out off the water again once it gets to Virginia and North Carolina, and then you can say goodbye to Elsa. If we take a quick look at the total rainfall that it does show, and go back a little bit here, it does show a significant amount of rainfall off of Florida. It does bring 2 to 4 inches of rain into the Western Panhandle, but then that's pretty much it and sends its way out. If you go back a couple runs, if even last run, you see how much rain it is there, and back in the last run, it's significantly more rain. The trend has been being more weaker and weaker, but this storm is gathering more strength faster than these models thought. So there's the big question. Do you trust the models right here, or do you trust the storm strengthening right now? This is the storm right now, 85 miles per hour, 991 millibar. And if we go back to the current picture of it right now, if it doesn't lag, we'll wait for that to load. But the current picture of this storm is beginning to look more and more strength. But these models have been showing weaker and weaker. Alright, sorry about this, but we're going to have to go back a little bit. But as you can see, this storm is gathering strength very quickly. And it's moving very quickly into warmer waters and more favorable conditions where the shear isn't as strong. I'm going to go with this storm getting more strengthful on the GFS. I do not believe that. The European, if you were to look on in pivotal weather, doesn't even show a storm forming, which is mind-blowing at this point when you have a Category 1 hurricane entering the Caribbean and it doesn't even show a storm. Anywhere in this pinkish red color is an area of impact that could go all the way far west as Mississippi, Alabama borderline, or it could go right out to sea and go straight up the coast. We have three options right now. Option number one, it goes into the Gulf of Mexico, impacts western Florida and the Panhandle, or into Alabama. The second option, where it goes straight into Tampa pretty much and then curls out and goes up the East Coast, which most of the models believe that in between option 1 and 2. The GFS wants to take it into the Panhandle, then curl it out, just coming off south of Long Island to New York. And the third option, where the Canadian wants to do, it takes it straight in between the Bahamas and Florida and then kicks it out to sea. If I had to choose an option, I would... Oh, what the hell? Sorry about that. If I had to choose an option, it would either be a combination of 1 and 2 or 2. At this time, I do not see option 3 happening because you have this high pressure forcing the storm to go into the Gulf a little bit more than taking it out to sea. But if this high pressure does move out a little bit, go out to the east more, then I could see option 3 happening. But as of right now, I think it would be option 2 or a combination of 1 and 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned for this upcoming hurricane.